My name is JVS Dr. Neeraj Surya, and in this series of microbiology presentations, or next slide are on the staining procedures. So in the microbiology, staining is very important procedure because in the biological samples are most of the biological samples are colorless. Okay, so if you want to observe them under microscopes, because they are colorless, they cannot be observed directly. So staining is a procedure that makes your specimens visible to us. Okay, they increase the contrast in the background and the sample, and you can visualize them easily under the microscope. So here we start. So staining is needed to examine the microorganisms microscopically in order to study their morphology and observe their cellular constituents. Okay, you can observe their morphology and you can observe the intracellular organelles also. So the smear preparation or the tissue sectioning are made and stained by any one of the required staining methods. Okay. There are various staining methods. We will observe them in the next slides. So smears can be made from liquid or solid cultures or from the clinical specimens. Liquid samples may be your blood sample, urine sample, or other body fluid, infectious body fluid. Okay, and the solid cultures may be the tissue, or the clinical specimens may be the biopsies, etc. And you have different types of samples, and accordingly, if it is liquid or solid, you can acquire the procedure. So the staining results is dependent on the quality of the smears. It is very important to make the proper or optimum smear. Okay, so if the smear is not good, you can acquire the hazy or not clear images. If you want to get the perfect images, the smear should be perfect. So it requires the lot of the experimental experience. Okay, so from the liquid cultures, smears should be evenly spread on the slide and allowed to dry in the air. So, and smear from solid cultures should not be thick. Okay, if it is the liquid sample, the thickness doesn't matter a lot. Only you have to care about that the liquid sample should be evenly spread onto the slide. Okay, or if it is a solid specimen or solid sample, the slices should be cut in such a range that it can be like a single layer. Okay, it should be very thin layer. So generally in the pathophysiological biopsies, the size of the smear of solid samples are around 5 micron. Okay, so there are various types of stainings available. The terms different stainings have. First is the indirect staining. Okay, so what is the indirect staining? This is when an organism is stained only in the presence of a mordant. Okay, if you use the mordant and the organism is visible under the use of the mordant, it is known as the indirect staining. For example, the Gram staining. And so next, what is the direct staining? So this is simple one-step staining procedure in which the presence and morphology of bacteria are demonstrated. So here in direct staining, you doesn't need the mordant. What is the mordant? Mordant is something that fix the stain into your sample. Okay. The next term is the or staining technique is the negative staining. So when it is the organism remains unstained against a stained background, this is one of the few methods where acid stains such as nigrosin are used. So what is negative staining? Here you did not stain your objective, rather you stain the background. Okay, so your sample will be brightened against the dark background, so it is known as the negative staining. Okay. Negative staining may be used for the samples that are sensitive to dye. If you use the dye, the samples may be destroyed or may be dead, so you use the negative staining, so your sample will be unstained. So what is the metachromatic staining? Metachromatic staining, in this staining method, the organism or part of the organism is stained a different shade of color from that of the stain. Means if your stain is having the one color, the same color is not obtained from the stained image or stained objective. Your objective will be stained in different color from the stain. That is known as the metachromatic staining. And there are two staining techniques or types. One is the in vivo staining, that is also known as the vital staining or the intravital staining. So if you dye the things at their position within a cell or tissue, this is known as the in vivo staining or the vital staining. In vivo means at their biological places. Okay. And second is the in vitro staining, that involves the coloring of the cells or structures or the objectives that have been removed from their biological context. So generally the staining in the pathological labs or in the experimental labs are the in vitro staining. In vivo stainings are performed very few in the experimental setups. So in the in vitro staining which we perform in the pathological labs or in our labs have different procedures or different step-by-step procedure. So in the procedure of staining, first of all we have to fix the samples. What is the fixation? Fixation is the conservation of your objective or proteins and material so that it not be modified further. So heat fixation is used to adhere these cells, and in heat fixation your sample is, or the bacteria or viruses or the your cells are dead and they alter the specimen so it accepts the stain. And most chemical fixatives, the chemicals which perform the fixation of the samples, generate the chemical bonds between proteins and other substances within a sample, and they increase their rigidity. So what are the fixatives we use? Generally it is the formaldehyde, ethanol or methanol, or you can also use the picric acid or acetic acid plus alcohol, and different fixatives are used in different combinations depend on the sample or the procedure you follow. So formalin is also used as the fixative. So after the fixation procedure, to acquire the proper reach of your stain into the target sites, you need the permeabilization steps. So it involves the treatment of cells with a mild surfactant. This treatment dissolves the cell membrane, or you can say that it increases the pore size at the cell membranes and allows the larger dye molecules into the cells, so that the your stain or dye may reach or can reach at the site and stain the specific structures. After fixative you did the permeabilization, and next the staining. So staining is the simply stain your sample with the appropriate stain or dye. Okay. After the staining, you have to remove the extra stain present in the objective. So the washing steps are also performed after the staining steps. Unwanted stain or the unbounded stain is removed from these washing steps. Next is the mounting. So what is the mounting? Mounting usually involves the attaching these samples to the glass microscope slide for observation and analysis. For larger pieces or tissue, thin sections are made using a microtome. These slices can be mounted and inspected. So there are different mounting medias are used, like DPX, or in the fluorescently labeled stain you can also use the mounting reagent that restrict the quenching. Okay, like DAPCO is a stain that perform the mounting and that also preserve your sample for quenching. Next, after the mounting makes your slides permanent, and you can also use the stain slides in future. So there are the different types of staining procedures, and you can acquire the appropriate staining procedure according to your sample and according to stain procedure. Thank you.